Hi, everybody. It's Monday, and I'm so excited to be your host this evening. And the topic for my overview tonight is, would you love to sleep till you're done? And to me, this is probably, for me, the most important thing, because then I don't have to worry about a boss, schedules, asking for time off. But let me introduce myself officially. My name is Sandy Cohen, and that's my sweetheart, Ed. And that's a photo of us, believe it or not, 1963. You got to admit, we were pretty hot. And that was the year that I graduated Temple University with a degree in teaching, and Ed opened his first pharmacy in Philadelphia. And it was amazing. He was my Prince Charming. I actually met Ed when I was 15 years old, braces on my teeth, the works. And Ed actually had 5 pharmacies in Philadelphia. And in 1978, I started a medical and surgical supply division in the front of one of his stores, and we built that to a multi-million-dollar business in 3 years. We were pioneers in that industry. We worked with Senator Hines on the Committee for Aging. My specialty was pediatrics, helping families with children with special needs. Really, really loved what we did. But fast forward to 1986, and we sold the business to a group of private investors who defaulted and did not pay us. And so began an absolute nightmare in the court system. And if you know anything about the court system, nobody ever said the law was fair, and that's a quote from our top litigation attorney in Philadelphia. But we ended up in a downward spiral. And if you know anyone, or if you've personally experienced the downward spiral, you know it usually gets worse before it gets better. So began an 8-year nightmare in the court system. And we went from having a 10,000 square foot home, a Rolls Royce, a stretch limo, an English houseman, a cook from Grand Cayman, to driving an 8-year-old car with no air conditioning in Phoenix. And now today, on the right, you can see Eddie and I with our 2 white vehicles. One is a BMW Z4, and the other is another white Escalade. We obviously love Escalade. So how do you go from being 52 years old and $450,000 in debt? Because that's where we were at the age of 52. Even though we won in court, the only winners were the attorneys. We lost everything. And that's when we moved west to start our life all over again. And you know, it's interesting. Eddie and I have now made millions of dollars because we are so committed to helping other people live their dream, to help other people control both their time and their finances. And we were not looking to earn millions. We were actually just looking for what Eddie and I call POM, peace of mind. We just wanted to be able to now pay the electric bill and the phone bill at the end of the month. And we couldn't back in those days. And the only reason they did not shut off the electric, because we were also taking care of my mother at home with breast cancer, Alzheimer's, 24/7, being diapered, tube-fed, and suctioned on oxygen. And because she was on life support, they couldn't shut off the electric. And that's how we lived for 8 years. So here's my question to you. Are you stuck in a 9-to-5? Are you working for someone else and building their dream instead of your dream? And I don't know if you ever saw the movie with Dolly Parton, but 9-to-5 is definitely not a way of life. At least that was not what we were looking for. So would you love to sleep till you're done? Would you love to read the menu without ever worrying about the price tag? Just eat what you want in any restaurant that you choose. What if you never had to work for anyone else again? That you really controlled your time and your finances? What if your commute was literally 20 seconds to another room in your home? And the best part is there are huge tax advantages for people who have a home-based business. And it's interesting because most people that work at JOB don't know this. They did not know that the government wants you to be in business because there's two tax systems, one for business owners and one for employees who are W-2 wage earners. Now, why would you want to be on the side of a business owner? Let's quickly look at that. But if you have a home-based business, did you know you have the exact same tax advantages as the big Fortune 500 companies? Did you know that? Because most people that I talk to that work a job have no clue. So think about this image of Joe, who has a cell phone. He has mortgage or rent, car expenses, repairs. He likes to eat out once in a while with his family. He likes to play golf, go to the movies, has medical expenses, etc. Did you know as a W-2 employee, all of these things I just mentioned are not deductible until he becomes even a part-time home-based business owner? And the law does not even say you have to be profitable. They do say you have to intend to be profitable. So my big question is, what is your dream? You know, we now live in a custom home in Lake Las Vegas, new cars in the driveway. And how did all this happen? Because we serve others to help them get what they want, so everyone wins. And I think it was Jim Rohn that said, when you help enough people get what they want, you will also get what you want. Now, Eddie and I have been with Xango International for 14 just amazing years. We're talking about living the dream. And when people ask about, well, you know, how do you make money in network marketing? Like I just got a Facebook message from somebody who I was supposed to have a meeting with tomorrow. And he said, you know what, Sandy, I have been bombarded with so many network marketing companies. It's hard to make a choice. Of course it's hard to make a choice because everybody tells you the best. They're the best products, the best comp plan. Well, how is it that everyone can be the best? Well, you know as well as I do, everybody cannot be the best. But when you're looking at a network marketing company and you're looking to build a business, here's the question I ask everyone who's open to building a business. If you were going to go to work, would you rather be paid 28% for all your work, or a 38% commission for all your work, or a full 50%? So let's ask the question again. If you were going to be paid, would you rather be paid 28%, 38%, or a full 50%? Obviously, who would say anything but the 50%? So not only do we have fast start bonuses in additional to the 50% payout, drive your dream bonuses, and you don't even have to get a car. You can get a motorcycle, you can get a boat, you can put the money away for your kids' education. It does not matter. And they just recently enhanced our compensation plan to be volume-based, based on team effort. Guys, this is so amazing. Even though the first 14 years of Xango, we created more million-dollar earners and multi-million-dollar earners with the structured plan we had. Now, oh my goodness, this is why we're calling this year the beginning of Xango 2.0. But look in the upper right-hand corner, the rank advancement bonuses. This is beyond anything. You get to $20,000 in team volume, entire team volume, and you get an extra $5,000. Premier, which is $50,000 in team volume, an extra 10,000 in volume. As a 100K Premier, which just means $100,000 in volume on the whole team, you get an extra, the word is extra, $25,000. 200K Premier, which is only $200,000 in volume, you get an extra. Did you hear me? Extra $50,000. And once you're a 500K Premier, you get an extra $100,000. This is beyond. And in the old days, prior to Xango 2.0, in order to win a trip, one of the rewards trips, you had to become at least a Premier or above. And that can take time. I think we did it within the first 6 months. But remember, that's not typical because we had already been in the industry for about 10 years. So I had what we used to call a Rolodex. I had a Rolodex just fat with names and contact information. But now, people that come into Xango today, who sign the application today, fill it out, and order product, you can, with just $5,000 in team volume, win a trip to paradise. And in August, we're going to the new 5-star resort in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Not a 2-star resort or a cruise ship where toilets don't flush, where other companies take their trips. We're talking about a 5-star resort experience. And if you want to know more about the details of the compensation plan, just ask the person that invited you on this call, and they can send you a short 20-minute recording detailing the entire compensation plan. It's as simple as that, guys. Fall in love with the product. You become a customer who shares it with other customers, and some of us customers get such a product experience on our products that we're compelled to share it with other people, and we start to make money. Some make a little bit of money, and some make an awful lot of money. You just decide where you want to be. Now, tonight I am so excited to have as a special guest 2 friends, and I so admire these people. I mean, John and Gina Jurowitz. And if you see this photo of the car mechanic on the left, John, I don't know if you wore blue overalls when you were working on cars, but I couldn't resist showing that photograph. But John was an excellent mechanic. And on the right is a picture of Gina, a hairstylist, really good at what she did. But they wanted something different. They wanted a different way of life. And doing what they were doing would not give them the ability to travel all over the world without asking a boss. Not only that, they are pivotal. They are the key people that took the meal pack program to a whole other level. And as a result of their teaching and their leading by example, we actually ended 2016 serving 7 million meals to children that are dying in third world countries. Now tell me, doesn't that make your heart sing? So, John and Gina, are you with us?
We are here.
We are here.
Awesome, guys. And thank you for taking time. I know how busy you are, and I think you said today is your collection day where you go around to all the stores collecting the donation money. But I won't take long. I just want to ask you a few questions because I think your story is amazing. Now, the first question, of course, most people ask is, what was your experience in network marketing before Xango?
There was 0 experience in network marketing before Xango.
Really? So you were a virgin, right?
That is correct. This is our very first company that we ever even looked at. I had a friend at a Goodyear that I worked at that invited me once to an Amway meeting, but when he described what it was, I had absolutely no interest because he didn't find a need and present that as a solution.
So what was your original goal when you took a look at Xango? What did you really initially, like for us, we just wanted to be able to pay the bills. We didn't have any big aspirations. What was it that you wanted to accomplish?
Well, Sandy, you wanted to pay the bills. Everybody has a need. And if you ever heard us talk about our backgrounds, almost every place that I ever worked at either closed or eliminated my position. And when you start going on job number 7, 8, 9, 10, it's like it gets kind of ridiculous. And so we were looking for about $1,000 to $1,200 so that in case I'd ever lose a job again or Gina ever lost it again, we'd have a little bit of a backup so that it wouldn't be such a stress on the finances while you're finding a new one and getting situated into it.
And at the same time, wasn't Gina also very open because something happened at her job and her position?
Yeah, that is correct, Sandy. At my position, when I was looking for health insurance, because at that time that was an optional thing, I said, my husband's going to be losing his job again, and I need some health insurance because at the time I was working full-time. And this was October of 2003. And they said, sure, here's some information. Open enrollment is January 1st. And, of course, a week before Christmas, they pulled me in the office and they said, you don't qualify for health insurance. By the way, you're no longer full-time, you're part-time, no longer guaranteed hours, no holiday pay, and Merry Christmas. So that was, Sandy, that was our wake-up call, and it was really a blessing in disguise. When we were looking for that $1,200, like John said, my take, in addition to that, was with, when you have these employers that eliminate positions, cut your pay or whatever, take things away from you, it really makes you think. And one of the things I thought about was I am not going to let an employer dictate our destiny.
So you wanted to take control, correct?
Pardon?
You wanted to take control.
Take control and look at other options. The mind was open.
Like a parachute, the mind was open. And
yep.
I remember, I guess it was very early on, an event was happening. I think it was a convention. And I know your sponsor, Eileen, told you how important it was to attend that event. And John, share with the listeners what your reaction was to attending an event for Xango.
Okay, so you have to understand, I was an employee my whole life. So whenever I got extra training to go on to work on cars, because they're always changing, you always got to get new tools and everything. The place that I was working at, they usually flipped the bill because they knew that if I learned something new, they would make more money because we could do more jobs there. So that was the mentality that I had. So when Eileen told me, yeah, you need to go to this convention coming up here, that meant that I'm going to have to buy the airfare from Chicago to Salt Lake City. That means I'm going to have to pay for the hotel stay for both of us. That means I'm going to have to take time off of work, whether I can get vacation pay or whether I got to take it without pay. It was a huge, huge stretch for me to try to get a grip on that. But then you have to realize, at the time I was still having the employee mindset. And then, I'm not sure whether it was you or Eileen, somebody said, you will learn more in 3 days there than you will in the next 6 months. Do you want to build the business? And since I'm a numbers person, to learn something in 3 days versus 6 months, that means I've got 5 months and 27 days that I can build a business with the information that I get from the 3 days there. That made total logical sense, and we decided to go.
And what happened as a result of you attending that event?
Well, first of all, Sandy, it was when we went there, we were like sponges, and so we were just taking everything in. we saw very successful people from all walks of life. It didn't matter if they had a college degree or not, housewife. It didn't matter. And I think the big thing was when John and I went to your dessert reception that you had, and John had a tape recorder, and he was asking you the hard questions as far as what would you do, what would you tell a new person that was just starting in the business?
To make sure that they get successful.
Right.
Right, and I was asking this to a number of different people that were successful, and I was getting the same answers. First you have to make the decision that you're going to do it. Without that decision, then you're just kind of like spending time and spinning your wheels. And then you have to treat it like a business, and you're doing it part-time, 2 to 5 people a day, new contacts, and if you're doing it full-time, 10 people a day. I'm sitting there, 10 people a day? I don't talk to 10 new people in a month. But we got the information that we needed. And the other thing that was really, really cool is while we were at that convention, I really got a glimpse of leverage because while we were there, the business grew. A number of new people joined our team while we were not at home and not really working the business. We were at the convention. And then it really started all falling into place. And, seeing all these people, the thought that we had was, what can they do that we can't do? I mean, at the time we were still thinking, $1,000, $1,200 a month. Well, that got way, way bigger. And on the way out, I'm going to let Gina tell you what she said as we were leaving the convention.
And, Sandy, thank you so much that night you spoke truth to us. You didn't sugarcoat it. You told us what it took. And so as I was going through everything and going over and seeing all the successful people, a decision was made. And in that decision, I looked at John and I says, honey, we're not supplementing our income. And he's looking at me like, what are you talking about? We just went to this wonderful convention. We did all this stuff. I go, we are going to replace it. And the decision was made. We internalized it. And we went to work on the way home, and we just put the pedal to the metal, really.
We're reading a book right now because, you continue to learn, you continue to read, you continue to take information, webinars and stuff. And we're reading Tom Hopkins, How to Master the Art of Selling. The chapter we're on in there, the guy's talking to Tom Hopkins. He goes, I can help your people. You're doing a great job and everything, but I can help them. He goes, have them talk to 20 new people a day, belly to belly. Getting the same message, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, things don't change, since the beginning of time. From the days of the pioneers going cross country selling their wares. If you are passionate about what you do, if you love what you do, it really is not work. And, share with the listeners if you can, because we're very limited on this call, what advice can you give the people listening who really have a desire to control both their time and their finances? So what kind of loving, tough love advice can you give the listeners?
First, you got to make the decision. Unless you make the decision and you got 2 feet in, you're going to be floating out there. The other thing is, Sandy, I realized early on as well that if I wanted my circumstances and John's circumstances to change, we had to change the way we think. How do you change the way you think? You do what other successful people do. They go to events, they read books, you do personal development, you refine your skill. This is a skill set business, and you constantly have to read books. I cannot emphasize enough on that. I mean, you have to keep reading and learning and refining yourself.
Okay, and I'm going to add to that. You've got to define that why, that ever so powerful reason why you want to do this. You have to look at that. You have to feel that. You have to believe that you can achieve that. And even if you don't, you have to have it. It's got to be written down. Every day when I get up, do a little bit of reading in the Bible, and then I go to my dream board and I look at everything that's on that, and I visualize it. I say things out loud so my mind, my subconscious mind can hear it. I've got a 3x5 card that's got the main goal written on there. After reading numerous different books, you've got to do it. I mean, the secret, you have to have that focus, and you have to expect that you're going to receive it. And it's hard to do at the beginning, but you have to expect it. And if you take the activity and you just keep going, because it's hard. A lot of times, I mean, when we were doing leads, a lot of times, it was so negative, people aren't picking up the phone. It was difficult. I could only take so much no and negativity at once, but the next day, I'm there doing it again. And I can remember Gina saying, how can you keep doing that? Because it's a heck of a lot easier than working on cars when it's below zero and you got salt dripping down your back, or when it's 95 and humid and there's no wind coming in. It's easier. I mean, if people really understood what we had, if those minds would just open, if they stop listening to the clatter that's on the TV and the nonsense all over the internet, this is the most amazing business, and why anybody wouldn't do it is totally beyond me, because think about it. The tax savings will cover your auto ship plus. And all you got to find is 3 other people that are willing to duplicate and work with them and keep multiplying it out. It's a no-brainer, logically. But we are emotional beings. So when you talk to people, you have to talk to them in an emotional way so you can see what they're looking for.
And your people are the product. You know, the vehicle is Xango, and it's a way of they can get what they want, what they currently don't have, and just, you know, getting that skill set up. You know, doing the refinement. I mean, Sandy, we were a mechanic and a hairstylist. John was an introvert. I had a lot of anxiety issues. Okay, and it's just the why was big enough and strong enough to say, you know, you're going to get through that fear and you're going to just get to the other side and you're going to keep going.
I don't care what it takes. You know, talking to people, finding new people, it's just finally to the point, I just don't care. We're building the business. This is the goal. Eventually I'm going to find all the people that I need and going to work with them to help them achieve their dreams, and then we'll get ours.
And the other thing is, if you hit a brick wall, call your sponsor, talk it out, and start speaking the success. Say, people want to hear what I have to say. You know, I attract the right kind of people. I mean, you just start putting out there what you want to attract and become what you want to attract.
You know, one of the things when I was first starting and doing leads and everything, you know, you got to understand, not everybody's going to see it. I don't care how good you are, not everyone's going to see it. So I had a little 3x5 card that I would read every day, and on that card it says, people want to hear what I have to say about Xango. Because if I did it by what the responses were, it never would have happened. But kept us going long enough to be successful.
And when I was doing leads on the phone, I can remember in the beginning, it took me 8 months before I found someone that wanted to buy some Xango, and this is when you're just selling Xango, and he wanted to buy 1 bottle. And you know what? I was excited. Now, most people would be like, Gina, you've been doing that on the phone for 8 months, and you found 1 person to buy a bottle. Why aren't you frustrated? Because I knew my skill was improving, and shortly after that, I did sign people up. So, and I was signing people up in person prior to that, but it was just on the phone, my sign-up ratio. It took a while for me to get it up there.
So
Awesome. And you know what, guys? You've made such good points about mindset, about skills, and the truth is, people will have their check directly proportionate to their skills. And first and foremost, as you both stated, dreams are not negotiable. They are not negotiable. And you can't give up on your dreams. Are you living the life that you thought you would be living where you are today? So there are Vista events happening all over the country. There's going to be another series of Vista events all over the country. When it's time for convention, it's not negotiable, because if you really want to live life as it should, I mean, when I ask people, if you had all the time and the money in the world, what would you want to do? What would you want to do if you had all the time and money you needed or wanted? What do you think the number one answer is? It's travel. But what's great about traveling with Xango is they pay the bill, first class. Now, here is our first trip when we hit Premier to Phuket, Thailand at the Mangosteen Resort. Heidelberg, Germany, we were the only group that year that was able to visit wild. We've been to Hawaii, I think Ed figured out 5 times, Venice, in Paris, shopping. All these bags, you see all these bags? Xango gave each couple $1,000 cash to go shopping. And Sandy Cohen came home with a new suitcase filled with $1,000 worth of shoes that I still wear to this day. Of course, the Hilton in Las Vegas, the Montage Resort in Laguna Beach, the Now Resorts, Hawaii again. And there's a little patented sticker on a Xango bottle. We've been to the Jade Resort, Park City, Utah, Turtle Bay, 2 cruises, not 1, 2 cruises. And where are we going next? This was the Ritz-Carlton in Grand Cayman. I think that was one of my favorite. Oh, my goodness. The water was like 99 degrees and no waves. So where are we going next, guys? Next, we're going to the Onyx Resort in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. It just opened, 5 stars. Go to Xango.com/paradise and put in the chat window if you are going to be with us in August. This last trip we took to the Mexican Riviera, I think there were 1,000 people on that trip. Brand new 5Ks. Yes, a 5K with only $5,000 in volume can be on this trip. So ask yourself, is today your perfect day to start living your dreams? Not wishing for it, but actually making it happen. And thank you so much to John and Gina for joining us on this call, and we appreciate you tremendously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thanks for all that you do as well, and we're just grateful to be a part of such a great company and Xango Nation. Exciting and
Thank you, dear. Thank you.